Back to the voting contest. Looks like I decided. Cubasis seems to have won the vote, followed by Beatmaker 3, then Nano Studio and Zenbeats. Okay, I gotta run, okay? We're gonna get to those later. See ya. Hey there everyone, it's SEONN the producer. Hope your New Year's going well. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've done a video. Yeah, I think the last videos I've done was just pretty much me reviewing a lot of the applications I like to use in Garageband. I spent the past few days or weeks looking through a few applications on iOS. Yeah, I recently made a poll where I wanted to switch up my workflow, where I was going between Nano Studio 2, Cubasis, Beatmaker, and what was the other one? Zenbeats. Yeah, and Cubasis won the vote. I'm not super surprised about that. So I spent the past few days looking into Cubasis, and my first impressions are this: the app is actually really cool. But before I get into more details on that, spoiler, I'm going to be switching to Cubasis 3, and I'll explain why in this video. So Cubasis 2 is an incredible application. It's built off of the years of experience of Steinberg. Steinberg's the developer who made Cubasis, as well as some other iOS applications, but they're mainly known for Cubasis, at least in the iOS ecosystem. I'll do a later video where I'll go a little bit more into what I've discovered in Cubasis and a lot of the knowledge I've learned here. But what I can say is my experiences switching from GarageBand to Cubasis has been interesting. First of all, a lot of things that I'm familiar with using, like the drummer, the smart drummer, the beat sequencer, and a lot of the sounds I tend to use a lot. The word instruments, it's no longer there, and I sort of miss that. Not saying I can always go back to GarageBand and send files into Cubasis, but that was one of those bit of a letdown, because I had a good workflow going. I had a lot of great diverse sounds I really liked. But one of the major trade-offs that I really did like in Cubasis was how it handled inter-app audio applications. Like it did that really well. I was able to get my apps like Groovebox and Reason Compact to easily render in this application. I didn't need to use an app like audiobus to do it. It allowed me to do the MIDI directly in Cubasis. It would send the audio directly into those apps and get that audio printed in the timeline if I froze those tracks. That was a big game changer, I guess, because it saves me a lot of time in me trying to find ways to get sounds and other stuff to work. Another thing I really liked about Cubasis was how it gave me a lot more tracks to work with. Something with GarageBand, I believe I'm limited to 32 as of the filming of this video. Hopefully they expanded, but 32 tracks is quite good. It's just sometimes I find myself adding a lot of samples or wanting to work with vocals a little bit more, that it might get restrictive to do it all in the same project. Not saying I couldn't do it in GarageBand, but having that option to expand the tracks was really nice. I'll say this though, Cubasis is a little bit more complex than GarageBand. The interface gives you a lot of controls, and that can seem like a plus, but I'd say if you're looking to get into a DAW and you've never looked into one, I'd say maybe look into GarageBand a little bit, just to at least have a good understanding of a workflow, because when you're in Cubasis, you gotta understand there's a bit of a learning curve. In my case, I did check out Mobile Music Pro's channel, and his videos sort of helped me get a bit of gist as to what I needed to know. Part of the reason why I'm a bit hesitant in recommending Cubasis as an immediate DAW for someone who is into iOS music making is because imagine having to understand the nuances and the weird interaction of iOS applications, and having to learn a major DAW like Cubasis. Granted, if you do decide to stick it out, the payoff is certainly worth it, but it's not something I usually just go around and say, let's recommend. Okay, I'm doing a bit of a comparison. I didn't really plan. I honestly didn't have any idea where this video would go. It's just me ranting about my experiences with Cubasis so far. Wanted to keep the loop going and the story on and on. And yeah. So my experiences opening the application, let's get to that. The thing I noticed was a lot more controls, where I'm able to set a lot of diverse time signatures. I'm able to easily specify select loop sections to loop ideas. It starts me off with the ability to easily choose between audio and MIDI. And I'm able to take it one step further by my MIDI applications being categorized right there and there, like inter-app audio apps, AUV3 applications, and of course the sounds in Cubasis, like the micro log and some other things I can't really remember yet. I really like the way it's all laid out there because it gets you going quickly. I like the fact that you can actually save your projects in Cubasis. One thing I really do love in Cubasis is the fact that it handles MIDI so well. In the sense of, if I have a MIDI loop in an app like TONALY, I can easily just share that MIDI directly into Cubasis and it stores it right there and I can easily access it. That is awesome. Back then I always had to go into the Garageband file transfer, keep it in a folder and then drag it back there. Me having that instant access, that if I make a simple MIDI loop in TONALY or I use something like piano motifs, and I can easily just get it there in Cubasis. Okay, I'm just going back and forth on my comparison. There really isn't like a decision of which one is better, really, because I haven't even used Cubasis for up to a month to be able to say this thing. So far, though, the journey is pretty exciting. I like what Cubasis can do. And I also do have the plugins in Cubasis. I haven't tested the Waves plugin, but that's also a big plus. The fact that Waves plugins are available in Cubasis, it's a definite advantage. Now, part of the reason why I'm switching from Cubasis 2 to Cubasis 3, multiple fold. One, I found out that you can get, if you get Cubasis LE and you have some sort of hardware that's compatible with it, you can actually get Cubasis 3 at a discount. In my case, I've got the Zoom U44 controller. I don't have it right here on the table. I'll probably put a picture of it somewhere here. I have that. And I also have my Yamaha UDB T01. That actually works well with it. So yeah, if you do decide to get Cubasis, you can get it through the LE version. I tested it. It's the exact same application as the Cubasis 3. I tried both of them. I gave them both a go. Did the exact same thing. It's just in the very beginning when you download the application to a new device or whatnot, to get the unlock, you just need to plug in the hardware one time. The first time you want to set it up, and that's it. One cool thing though was the plugins I had in Cubasis 2, I was able to easily transfer them to Cubasis 3. I'm talking about the Waves plugins, the Auto-Tune plugin, and the other stuff like that. So that was awesome that my purchases that I did in Cubasis 2 carried over. The thing I really missed that made me go into Cubasis 3 was, one, I wanted to see the full depth of iOS production. I recently picked up an iPad M1. I made my thoughts about the iPad a while back. I'll find the thread where I posted it on audiobus community if you want to read up on it. But I felt like I wouldn't really be doing the iPad justice if I didn't really try the quote-unquote best of the best application out there. As well as I also wanted to have a mobile experience. See, Cubasis 2 only works on the iPad. Cubasis 3 works on the iPhone and the iPad. And because I'm so used to Garageband working on the iPhone and the iPad, I felt like, okay, I do need this particular application. And plus, there's a lot more features that were added. I believe sidechain support was added in Cubasis 3. It's got a mastering channel. These are stuff I'll hopefully get into detail though. Anyways, I know this video has been a bit of a rant and I haven't really gone into much music production. For me to do some test onto the potential of Cubasis, all I just did was I just started a simple loop and I started adding ideas and melodies of songs that you've probably heard before. So here you go. Here's the video or screen recording of the, I guess, beat I made in Cubasis. Cubasis 2, that is. I'll be switching to Cubasis 3 a little bit. Oh yeah. Now for those of you who voted for other DAWs, don't worry. I'm going to get into Beatmaker 3. I'm going to get into Nano Studio 2. I'm going to get into Zenbeats. Just because Cubasis won the vote doesn't mean I'm not going to look into those applications. So hang tight and have a great one. See you now. Whoosh.